quiet decision made inside a London classroom would eventually send two teenagers into international headlines. What began as an ordinary pairing by a music instructor turned into one of the most unexpected breakthrough stories in televised talent show history. Jonathan Anton and Charlotte Giaconelli weren't seeking fame. They were participating in school music programs, developing their voices without any clear sense of where those rehearsals might lead. Jonathan, known among classmates for his operatic range, often battled confidence issues, while Charlotte, more outgoing and stage-minded, had a vocal tone rooted in musical theater rather than classical technique. Their teacher believed their contrasting styles might create an unusual but compelling blend, and the two were paired together for a school performance exercise. That single moment of instruction laid the groundwork for what would become one of the most widely discussed Britain's Got Talent auditions of the decade. Years later, both would speak about how unprepared they were for the sudden public interest. Nevertheless, the origins of their partnership, rooted in education, mentorship, and chance, remain a key part of understanding why their story resonated so strongly with audiences who often view talent show acts as polished, industry-ready performers. In this case, the emerging duo came from the most relatable place possible: a school hallway, a music classroom, and an unexpected harmony that clicked at precisely the right time. Few televised moments shift public conversation instantly, but the duo's audition did exactly that within minutes of airing. When Jonathan and Charlotte stepped onto the Britain's Got Talent stage, their appearance suggested another modest school act. There were murmurs online and in studio anticipating a predictable performance, one that would fade quickly into the crowded pool of auditions. But the song choice, the prayer, signaled something far more ambitious. As the first notes emerged, early skepticism turned into sudden tension, and what followed generated widespread reaction across social platforms and international news outlets. Viewers documented their surprise in real time, praising the emotional impact and the stark contrast between audience expectations and the duo's execution. A performance that might have remained a niche classical moment instead became a viral benchmark, demonstrating how unpredictable talent show narratives can be. News organizations highlighted the judges' visible reactions as evidence of the audition's emotional weight, noting how rarely such shifts occur in live television. For analysts and cultural commentators, the moment represented a compelling intersection of youth talent, underestimation, and the potency of crossover music in mainstream entertainment. In the broader media landscape, the audition became not just a performance, but a phenomenon that challenged stereotypes about classical music accessibility and reshaped the show's trajectory for that season. What followed their audition was not a gradual climb, but a media-documented acceleration rarely seen in modern talent show careers. Despite finishing second in the competition, Jonathan and Charlotte quickly secured a substantial recording contract reportedly valued near the £1 million mark. This development drew widespread media attention, with outlets covering how an act that had entered the competition with modest expectations had suddenly become one of the franchise's most promising commercial prospects. Within weeks, production schedules, press tour, and album preparations began moving at a pace normally reserved for established artists. Their first album, crafted under professional guidance, showcased a collection of classical pop adaptations that resonated with both traditional and new listeners. Critics noted the unusual nature of teenage artists entering a genre typically dominated by seasoned performers, yet the response remained largely positive. Consumer interest surged, supported by extensive coverage from newspapers, radio programs, and entertainment analysts. The duo's second album, released soon after, reinforced their foothold in the classical crossover space. The speed of their rise created discussion about talent show ecosystems and how quickly public sentiment can convert into market opportunity. Their early success became a case study in how televised exposure, when combined with undeniable vocal ability, can override industry norms and launch careers with remarkable velocity. A development that initially appeared routine would later redefine their careers and public identities. In 2014, industry announcements confirmed that Jonathan and Charlotte would not continue as a duo professionally. Media reports indicated both had been offered opportunities to pursue solo work, prompting a mutual decision to part ways. News outlets highlighted the split as a natural progression rather than a dramatic fallout, noting that the pair had always possessed distinct stylistic inclinations. Jonathan gravitating toward pure classical performance and Charlotte leaning toward theater-influenced vocal work. Their decision was framed as an evolution rather than an ending, yet public reaction showed clear emotional investment from fans who had followed their journey since the early audition days. Analysts observed that such splits are common in the entertainment world, particularly when young performers begin to identify their individual artistic priorities. While the announcement concluded the chapter that first captivated viewers, it also signaled the start of two independent careers. The choice drew commentary about the pressures placed on emerging artists navigating rapid fame and the structural realities of record label strategies, which often guide talent based on market assessment rather than nostalgia for past pairings. Ultimately, the separation became a pivotal moment, shaping the trajectory of both performers' futures. Once the duo dissolved, the narrative shifted from shared momentum to distinctly separate paths monitored closely by the press. Jonathan's solo trajectory focused heavily on classical development, with media coverage highlighting vocal refinement and personal growth. Charlotte, meanwhile, transitioned into musical theater training and performance, appearing in stage productions and expanding her artistic identity beyond the duo's earlier sound. Over the years, interviews revealed evolving perspectives on fame, pressure, and the rapid transition from adolescence to public scrutiny. Their communication became less frequent, something acknowledged in reports and interviews, though without indications of conflict. Analysts often reference their case when discussing how early fame affects long-term career stability. Public fascination with their post-duo lives continued, largely because their original narrative had been rooted in partnership. As both artists matured, coverage shifted toward personal achievements, resilience, and professional specialization. While they no longer appeared together, each maintained a presence in their respective fields, contributing to discussions about how young performers adapt to changing industry landscapes. Their individual progress remains a topic of interest in entertainment reporting, demonstrating how narratives evolve long after the initial spotlight fades. Even years after their breakthrough, media and fan discussions persist, driven by noticeable personal changes and evolving careers. Reports have focused on physical transformations, shifts in artistic direction, and speculation about whether the two might ever reunite professionally. Coverage often examines how both have adapted to adulthood after rising to fame as teenagers, highlighting personal development, vocal maturity, and changes in public presence. Some outlets have emphasized visual transformations, particularly noting Charlotte's more recent theater-oriented image and Jonathan's continued evolution within classical performance. Rumors occasionally surface regarding industry opportunities or potential collaborations, though none have materialized into concrete announcements. Analysts comment that lingering public interest stems from the emotional impact of their original narrative, a story built on unexpected talent, mutual support, and a dramatic television moment that resonated globally. While both artists maintain independent careers, curiosity around their journeys remains steady, reflecting the enduring nature of talent show-driven fandom. As with many public figures who experience early fame, every update, whether a performance announcement, interview, or visual change, tends to spark renewed conversation from supporters and media observers alike.